Hey, what is going on, guys? This is the Bogey Free podcast for the Honda Classic. I am your host, Evan Chaney, today joined by Matt, Jimmy, and our guest for tonight, James Wedge. How you doing today?
Evan.
Oh, shit.
Spectacular. It's all right. It's fitting.
His name's Jason, right?
Jason, yeah.
I'm not cutting this out because this is so on
I'm
brand.
so sorry about that. That was
perfect. It's all right, dude. It is perfect leading.
I blame this.
Listen, we got all these Europeans in the field. This is gonna be bad.
Because I was rehearsing the
Wedge.
one guy that I already forgot his name. We were talking about before the show. This is it's carnage already.
Oh man, this is gonna be great. We record an hour later and we're already like off the rails.
What happens
30
when
seconds
Bubba wins?
into the show.
Exactly. We've had an hour to ingest a few more drinks. Or
Oh yeah. No, I'm telling you, this is what happens when Bubba wins.
Yeah. So I think my exact words from last week's podcast were, "This is a good week to play Bubba. I don't think he wins or anything, but."
That was quite a hunch there, though.
I'm not happy about this whole situation.
So I didn't play much of him. I think I had one lineup or two lineups with him. It wasn't enough to make a huge difference.
No, I hate him so much, and he's just so he just has like a real punchable face. I really don't like him just in general. And I'm at my parents' house watching on Sunday, and he's in the bunker. I think it was 14 when he holed out.
Shot. Yeah.
He's in the bunker, and I turn to my dad and I go, I really hope he doesn't even get it out of the bunker. And he turns to me and he goes, well, if you keep trying to jinx him like that, he's going to end up winning, right?
You freaking mushed him.
It was the worst.
You reverse mushed him.
It was perfect timing. It was just unbelievable. I literally say, I hope he doesn't get out of the sand, and he holes out and goes on to win. Of course.
That honestly could have been one of.
So who are you
against
this week?
All right, don't Ander curse me. I'm not bad.
You're not at all. But speaking of the Ander curse, just to get it out of the way, Chesson Hadley's screwed.
Oh yeah, no, I saw that. He's
awful.
Good luck to him.
Awful. It's just tragic what he's doing to these young men's careers, just week after week. It really is brutal.
Okay, hold on.
Civil Rights Association or something.
Let's talk about the Ander curse for a second. You say he might be cursing some of these younger golfers. He's cursing an entire generation. Us millennials.
Us
millennials have to deal with his constant bombarding.
You're absolutely right. When in fact, he's the most closeted millennial ever. I do agree that Tim Andercutt is the most closeted millennial ever, and tragically so, even. But that's enough about Tim Andercutt. But anyway, Chesson Hadley is Andercutt this week. Tim it is a poor guy. I heard he is the worst handyman ever in Canada, which is tragic.
Oh, speaking of Canada. This is one of their holidays. Happy Family Day to those in up north.
Oh, that's awesome. They embrace family and things like that.
They do. except British Columbia. British Columbia did it last week. Just a side note.
Just one of their territories has a different.
It's all over. It's all over. I'm gonna go lay down. See you guys. Have a good day.
So to get us back, let's get us back on the rails. PGA National this week.
This is a golf podcast, right?
Wait, hold on. We got. I'm taking control, Ev. Sorry. Here we go. First of all, before we get into this week, we do have to congratulate our listener league winner, Mr. Coach Box. I'm not sure who that is. I don't know if I have interacted with you, but congrats. Little 443. He took down the listener league without DJ, which is good. And our very own Evan came in 4th this week. He actually got in the fucking contest, and he did well.
If it weren't for Keegan, I would have won.
If it weren't for Keegan.
That asshole.
If it weren't for Keegan, Matt would have a different Abby this week.
That's true. The hashtag Never Keegan would be different this week.
Oh, no. Fuck. It's just unbelievable. Oh, man. All right. Well, whatever. I'm noticing right now that if you've been watching the last couple of weeks, my video hasn't been working, and now it's only my video coming through on the YouTube stream. So, yeah.
Well, I mean, that's sort of a positive for all the folks that like beards out there.
So I'll switch back and forth. Sorry.
Well, we were enjoying the face.
Yeah, no, nobody needs that much of my face.
I don't know.
Anyway,
isn't there a second one coming into the world?
Yeah. Yep, this is true. This is true. Oh man, this is going to be a 3-hour show at best.
That's fine. I'm fine with that.
Let's go. We can rapid fire. Let's go lightning round.
All right. So.
What is going on here?
Jesus, I'm supposed to be running like a professional operation over here. Wedge is like, why the fuck did I'm like spending my night talking to these assholes. All they've talked about is mispronunciations, how much Bubba has a punchable face, and how like the host who started the fucking show jinxes everybody and sucks. Like that's been the summary so far.
Spectacular. It's spectacular listening. Don't worry about it.
That's fine. Anyway, we do have a tournament this week, I hear. And that being the Honda Classic. I mean, let's talk about, stats that you might be looking for when you're building a player pool this week. Jason, I'll go to you. What are you looking at to build your pool this week?
A lot of times when I start, the first thing I'll do is I'm going to take a look at the course here and I like to peruse the previous year's PGA Tour, the shot tracker, so you can see how people get around the course. And I'll take a look at a guy like that finished near the top, like maybe just say Sergio, or and then take a look at the winner and see how Ricky got around, and kind of take a look that way. And then I'll go from there. So I know it's been dry this year. It's been dry. It should be dry down there, I assume, right, Jimmy?
Yeah, it really, there hasn't been much rain. I actually looked into that the other day on Weather Underground, and it's been really dry down in that area. The last time they got any significant rain was early January, so it should be pretty firm.
Yeah, so it's gonna be firm, so it's not gonna be as much of a have to carry the ball. So I'll go from there. I generally keep it pretty simple when I break down my guys. I'll take a look at tee to green right off the top. And then look at strokes, and I'll dig in depending on how the course goes. But this week I'm going to keep it real simple. You guys catch me on a Monday too. I'm probably a little more used to doing this on Tuesday, but start off with tee to green, go to approach, and then take it from there. How about you guys? I know you guys do a little bit more of the stat digging than myself. So what about you guys?
You go ahead, Jimmy.
Well, I mean, just to dig into the course a little bit, PGA Nationals going to be the most difficult course that the guys have seen this year. And it's probably going to be, outside of the majors, the most difficult course they play all year. To begin with, we get our first par 70 of the year. So we only have 2 par 5s, one on the front, one on the back. We've got 2 brutal holes, the 6th and the 14th, one on the front, one on the back. So it kind of balances each other out. You kind of give a stroke, take a stroke there. And then the rest of it is just some really tough over par, long par 4s. You have some shorter scoreable par 4s, less than 400 yards. So guys can take advantage there. The 400 to 450 yard par 4s, they play almost a half stroke over par as a group. So they're attackable, but not really where guys are going to dominate the field. But there are enough of them that I weight them in scoring. Guys are really going to bleed strokes back to the field on the long par 4s. There being 4 of them that are over 450 yards. So that's where guys are going to need to be scrambling. There's like a 508 yard par 4 that I think like 30% of the field's going to bogey. So it's just a tough golf course. So I think it's going to be a little bit windy this week. So we can see carnage. And the thing about PGA National is it's not like guys make bogey. Guys make like a 12. I mean, that's like a bit of an exaggeration, but I mean, like you're going to see 8s and 9s and like 10s this week probably if it gets breezy. So, it's a tough golf course. There's a lot of water. Guys are going to be taking less than driver off the tee to kind of keep it in play. It is definitely positional, strategic, technical golf course, and we're getting back onto Bermuda this week. So I think this may be the 1 week out of the year that I don't weight like current form or recent form as heavily, because there's such a significant like drastic transition from the West Coast to the East Coast. You're going from like this really bumpy, unpredictable POA and some different grass types over there and weather conditions to a very flat Bermuda, based golf course with very exposed, lots of wind. It's also home to a lot of players here as well. So I think that you can see guys have a good week kind of like out of nowhere here. Because maybe they're just not suited for the West Coast. The Florida swing guys, really tend to excel in certain parts of the country. So I think this is the 1 week of the year that I maybe discount current form a little bit. It's probably more based on the guy and their history, but just in general, I think that maybe this is the week you can maybe look a little more at course history or like Florida course in general, guys, instead of maybe recent form.
Yeah, for sure. I'm with you there. Just speaking to how difficult the course is, I've been sort of looking into this a little bit more, a little bit more frequently lately, just looking for like the all 4 rounds under 70. And since 2007, there's been 8 golfers out of 1,573 that hit all 4 rounds under 70 here, which is pretty wild when you think about it.
Like anybody active? 70. Anybody like active that's playing this week?
I can definitely pull that up.
Morgan Hoffman did it last year. He was the only one.
Dude, you should. I'm pretty sure it's Morgan Hoffman. He's got a medical condition going on with like losing muscle mass or something. I tweeted an article out a while back. It was a really good article about him. But props to that guy for still grinding it out, man. Pretty good story. You should check it out if you haven't read the article about it.
Deteriorating pec muscle, wasn't it? Something along those lines.
It was a really crazy situation. But yeah, it's a definitely like a feel good sports story. You should check it out, listeners out there.
All right, I got my 8. So we have recently, Morgan Hoffman last year, JT the year before, nobody in 15, Palmer in 14, Rory and Rory in 2012, and then some
JT,
sort of randos.
And Ryan Palmer.
Yep. Yeah. Perfect. So just again, it's
Rory. Great.
I thought it was interesting just that there were that few. Obviously, on par 72s, sometimes you're like, all right, they could still have been under par, but on a par 70 course, I think that's pretty amazing that there's only been 8. So it, and then obviously the rest of the stats that you guys are talking about are things that I'll be focusing in on as well. Just thought that was interesting to note.
That is interesting because really, I mean, that's I would have certainly thought there would have been more.
Been more than that, yeah.
Yeah. So, or I could just be clicking on things wrong, and I'm confused. But
no, you think you're right. I think.
But right. It's going to be up on the article tomorrow. So, well, if it's wrong, fuck you guys. I don't know what to tell you.
Nice.
Oh man.
Well, that's a great transition into our first pool of golfers here. We'll get to our 10K and up. First off, just looking at the pricing, Matt, I know you don't really want to give too many opinions here, but the pricing is objectively interesting.
To peel back the curtain, just real quick, 30 seconds. I've obviously write for DK Live, and I was up there on Friday, up in Boston, talking to people and whatever else, just meeting with some of the other writers and stuff.
And big time in it.
Yeah, I'm just fucking just caking it right now. Let me tell you.
Do you see John?
That being said, no. Anyway, that being said, like I said, I don't know what the hell goes on with the pricing. Sometimes it is what it is. I think that this week they sort of took a step back from last week. But hey, if we're doing it right, then we can find some edges there, right?
Yeah, of course. No,
absolutely.
I think the pricing's pretty good this week overall. I don't think there's like tons of holes in it. I think this is a tough week to price because of the changes I just mentioned, and you have a lot of random Euros in the field. I think in general, like the pricing isn't too bad this week, like all things considered. So definitely better than 2 weeks ago. Maybe not as good as last week, but overall, I think that they must use their algorithm and be fairly consistent with it. And, because when there's errors, there's big errors, but when there's not, it seems to be pretty tight. So I think this week will be for a good week. And I think this is a really highly variant course. So I think the pricing is probably going to matter less than we think.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah. So like I said, let's get to our 10K and up guys. And Jason, I'll get to you first here. I mean, who are you liking in this range? Who would you be overweight or underweight on? Yeah, just talk about that group of guys.
Okay, so I'll take one here out of this range, and I'll go to Sergio, seeing as he's the kind of guy that has been solid here. He's a great tee to green player. I know we haven't seen him in a while over here, but it's never really stopped him in the past. This is the type of course that's made for Sergio. It kind of fits his game really well, and I like the cost savings. I really like Fowler amongst the top group here, but Fowler's not going to fit into my cash game type plays this week. So I go Garcia over in this group. Who wants to go next?
Jimmy, you go ahead.
I'm right there with you. Garcia's winning this golf tournament, so we can talk about everybody that's going to come second worse later. But I'm on board with you, and Garcia is my pick to win the golf tournament. I'm going to be heavily overweight on Garcia, potentially biased. And I'm not really biased. I'm not really as good. I'm really.
It's a really not really that.
I don't think I've never really been a huge fan of him. I'm not, a giant backer of Sergio. I'm not a truther of the Garcia. But I do think that for his price in this field, on this course, and his run since his win last year at the Masters, this is a great opportunity for him to show up with a win on U.S. soil. So he's my pick to win. Moving on, I will have some other exposure. You really made an interesting point with Rory. I'm kind of only considering course history like the last 3 years since the renovation, but Rory's had some incredible rounds here. And it's not the kind of thing that's like so far-fetched that Rory just comes out here and blasts 2 really, really incredible rounds and finds himself in contention on Sunday and scores really well. So he's an interesting GPP play to me, but I really do like Justin Thomas this week. So those are the 3 up here I'm going to have exposure to. And per usual, I'll probably skip the top end of the 9K range. It's scary.
Justin Lewis Thomas is winning this golf tournament.
Whoa.
Well, that's not possible.
No, because we already determined Sergio's winning. So
we've already discussed this, but
there can't be 2 winners.
Second place is fine.
Justin Lewis Thomas.
Is Lewis really his middle name?
I did not know that.
Yeah.
Fucking stalker.
I know. I'm such a stalker looking up Wikipedia so I could be dramatic about it.
Yeah, it's impressive, though. Nice. Okay, sell me. I like it. Sell me.
I don't understand. Like, have you, like, looked at, like, what he's done since, like, the Open Championship last year? Like, it's insane. He's done nothing but, like, top 25s, and most have been, like, top 15s.
Yes,
like,
I see that.
He's just been out of control. I don't think that there's any reason why I wouldn't like him this week. And I feel like people will go to Sergio. People will go to Ricky. I mean, I don't know. What do you guys think, like, ownership wise on Ricky, though, since he is the highest priced?
People love Ricky. Ricky's Ricky's always going to be. I think the ownership will spread out around the 20s for Ricky, JT, and then Sergio will probably be a tick higher than JT, but Ricky will be a scotch higher than both of them. Rory will be clearly the lowest owned, and Noren will fall somewhere between Rory and JT.
I'm completely off Noren too. No Noren for me. Noren's done. This is it. It's over.
No, that's kind of what I see. I don't know what is. I mean, let me see. Like, what does Fantasy National have him at? Like,
I mean, the thing is though, like,
they have him in that same type of range. So,
but the issue for me with him, at least, is like he was crazy on approach for a couple weeks there, right? At what was it, Torrey at Farmers, and then in Phoenix. And then he sort of lost that last week, and his putter bailed him out. And like you said, this is a totally different course, switching to Bermuda. Like, I don't know. Like, I don't really see something where I'm like, he's definitely going to do this well, so I'm definitely going to play him at over $10,000. So, like, if I have to pick somebody where I'm just not playing them in this range, it's him. That's just where I land on him. And like, I mean, I'm joking around mostly, but I really do think Justin has a reasonable shot to win this tournament. And then if Rory's going to be the lowest owned, I have no problem playing a guy who hits the ball tee to green like he does at low ownership. So,
yeah, like, what if he never like takes his driver out of the bag and he pulls like a Jason Day from the Players a couple of years ago and he just blasts like a driving iron around here and just destroys everybody?
Yeah.
Was he that?
Expect it to happen, but I mean it's Rory, and these guys are really good. I mean, if he comes in at less than 10% ownership, I'll have 10% of him.
Yeah. All right, that's where I'm at. I'm taking stands, guys. It's a new year, new me. I'm giving up course history for Lent, and I
saw that. That's a great tweet.
So that's it.
You're gonna peeve a lot of people. You're gonna peeve a lot of people. You know, course history.
There's a fine line in an argument one way or the other, but we got to keep it moving. We can't get into that.
That's a whole nother show.
We can't get into that swamp right now. Let's keep it moving, Evan.
And it's perfect because we get to talk about Gary Woodland next. So like, I'm just winning all over the place.
My goodness, it's just the hand that keeps on feeding. So yeah, I mean, we do have our 9K range of guys, which features Woodland, Hatton, Fleetwood, Reed, and Knox. I mean, Matt, I know you have very strong feelings for Gary Woodland.
They finally listened. It's 5 guys in the 9K range this week.
Not
4.
Not 4.
We're
up in that
expanding.
total.
Yeah, they've expanded. See, DK is getting progressive. I like it.
I know. That's great. They're like the Bernie Sanders of DFS.
Oh my goodness.
Oh my god.
I almost had a fight with a girl in Panera today about Bernie Sanders. Again,
Really?
different shows for different days.
All right.
Oh my god.
So we have a course history episode incoming at some point, and we have a Panera Fights episode also. But
All we gotta
go ahead.
All we got to do is be a cross-dresser who recently went to jail, and we got the trifecta.
Oh, boy. All
I
right.
didn't know you
Well,
cross-dressed, Evan.
anyway.
Or went to jail.
That's other DFS Twitter drama going on in the Twitter sphere. But anyway, yes, we do have.
Twitter
But yeah,
sphere.
Gary Woodland exists. He's here.
Oh, he does more than exist, sir.
He does. Siri just got triggered by that.
It's just
But,
this damn 9,700.
He's expensive.
It's tough.
But I mean,
That's what the win will do to you, man. That's
Right.
the DK waiting the win.
That's true.
Yeah, I mean, he has the win, but he also has, pretty good. What was he, runner up last year, or third, top 5, something like that?
Yeah, he was second last year. Yep.
Yeah. So I mean, he has both of those things where you get a little bit of a bump, and plus the win, and he's been playing well. I mean, I'm looking at it now. Over the last 50 rounds, he's 11th in DraftKings points. So like, that's what we're shooting for, and he's been doing well. Even factoring in the what was it, a couple weeks ago? Was it Pebble?
Pro-Am?
Pebble?
Yeah, the Pro-Am. Yeah.
So
where he was just bad.
Yeah, you can throw Pebble out. Like Pebble, like 7.5 hour rounds, you can toss Pebble out.
Right. I'm there with you on that one.
And I mean, I don't know. I'll let you guys fight over the scraps of this range because
the scraps.
We talked about
Tommy Fleetwood scraps. Who's more likely to win a major, Tommy Fleetwood or Gary Woodland?
Scraps.
Okay.
No, they're just all scraps.
I would put that Fleetwood, Gary, Hatton. So, boom.
I mean, you're ignoring the strongest part of this 9K range. I mean, Russell Knox.
Yeah, there's no way I'm paying. Nobody was paying $6,700 for Russell Knox a week ago. Now they're paying $9,000. Give me a break.
Yeah,
the dude's good though.
I mean, 2015.
The putting is awful, right? I'll give you that. But all the other stats check out.
No, you're right, but I'm not paying whatever. I'm not paying that amount of money for him.
Yeah, but you just need one lineup. You're gonna be overweight on him.
You need one lineup to be overweight on him.
That's
true. Sound like we sound like we're buying scratch offs. You just need one lineup.
That's it.
You just need one.
That's definitely a hustle. I like it.
Oh man,
I'm taking a stand and not playing Russell Knox, which means he's going to win.
How much of a stand is that, though? I mean,
it's according to Fantasy National, it's a 12.5% ownership stand.
Really, I'm shocked by that.
That's 12.5% people that would be wrong would be my guess.
Listen, I can't pay $9,000 for Russell Knox when
best I'd put him in the
400 more. There's Tommy Fleetwood or Tyrrell Hatton.
Right.
Like that's more the problem. Or for 200 less, there's Daniel Berger, or even better, Jason Duffner.
Yes.
So I find it difficult there. But I think in this range, a lot of people are going to be drawn to Fleetwood and to Hatton. I'm not sure which one I'm going to settle on. I'm kind of up in the air at the moment. I feel like one of them, they're both. I think they're both going to be pretty chalky, and one of them's in for a huge letdown, and the other one is probably going to be, as successful as we expect them to be. So I don't know if I just kind of split my exposure and I fade Reed, Knox, and Woodland, and I just 50-50 the 9K range, or if I don't play any of them, or if I just try to pick one and roll the dice and hope I get it right. And because I don't see myself playing Reed, or I'm not playing Knox at $9,000, and maybe a little sprinkle of Woodland. So the decisions between Hatton and Fleetwood, and I haven't decided where I'm going to land yet. I'm hoping somebody on this podcast sways me, but right now my lean is Hatton.
No, it's Gary. Just pay the extra couple $100. I don't know what the hell. Like, what the hell is going on?
Like, ultimately, that may not be a terrible strategy, but that's not where my head's at right now. I do want some Gary, but I like Hatton and Fleetwood better. Yeah. And I don't know. Like, so which one's better? They've both been on fire.
Right.
My answer to that question is just Knox.
Go away.
That's never. Listen, what if that's the answer? I don't want the question. No.
I mean,
Listen, we're busting your balls, and he's gonna win.
I'll take that.
Go ahead, Witch.
I feel like if I gotta go between the two, I probably go Fleetwood more than Hatton. I could be wrong, but I feel like in the long run, Fleetwood's going to be the better player, and may already be. He quite possibly already is a better player of the two, despite not being in the eye of the public as long. Kind of burst on the scene last year into the U.S. Hasn't played much over here, but I know Hatton finished fourth here last year, and I'm sure all of you remember how much he said he didn't really like playing on this type of grass.
Oh, yeah, I even tweeted about it. It's very frustrating.
Right. So we expect him to obviously he played well and he got away with it. He did what he's supposed to, but I'm just going to go to Fleetwood, kind of stick with the boring pick there, I guess, what people might look at it, but I like Fleetwood between the two if I got to pick just one of them.
Okay. Yeah, that's fair. I don't really just totally honest. I don't feel like I know enough about Hatton right now to totally be like, yeah, he's gonna beat Fleetwood. So I'm just gonna play Gary. It's the moral of the story.
Listen, at the end of the day, that may not be like the worst strategy. When it comes down to it, like if you look at some ownership stuff, like, and it's early, Gary's really chalky, but I feel like that's going to flip by the time it's all said and done. I feel like Hatton and Fleetwood are going to absorb a ton of ownership here.
I think my boy Gary's going to win me the hole in one. Did you see that new contest? It's 29.7 thousand people, winner take all, 25K.
Why?
Wait, for what? Recap that again.
So it's 29,726 people. First place pays out 25K. There's no other prizes. It's
this
just
is in DraftKings.
Yeah, it's just a $1 20 max winner take all.
What's it called?
The hole in one.
I'm entering right now. You other fools don't even need to bother. You other fools don't even need to bother. It's already mine.
The winner take all. It's like 2,200 people or 2,400 people.
Listen, I'm going to give everybody a hint. Yes. I'm entering the winning lineup, and it's got Bronson Burgoon in it.
Yes. Well, Evan's going to win it with Russell Knox, and he's just going to be on an island somewhere next week while we record.
Is Lucas Glover playing this week?
Yeah, unfortunately.
We're good.
All right, we got to keep it moving.
Yeah, let's hit 8K. Come on, Ev, get us on the rails here. What are we doing here?
Oh my God, this is great.
So lost in the sauce right now. Speaking of lost in the sauce, Brian Harmon at 8,900. My man.
Oh my God.
I don't think he's worth paying that much for, but or is it? Is he? Is he? I mean.
So full disclosure, before we talk about Brian Harmon, I was going to go light this week. I just max entered the hole in one.
How many entries is that?
It's only $20. I had already allocated, like I even was going to take a new strategy. I was going to enter some more cash games for you, Matt, to feel like my game's becoming more rounded. And I was going to take really, really strategic, disciplined approach.
Bankroll strategy.
You ruined it. You ruined it.
The best.
I saw that.
Moving on.
I saw the rake on that. It was.
Who cares?
Anyway,
it's fun.
Come on, Evan.
Anyway, these are the
25K, fella. Come on, what are we doing here?
That's true. I too enjoy a good lottery every now and again.
In it to win it.
Oh, it's 25,000. Oh, Jesus.
Yeah, man.
I mean, no, you shoot 100% of the shots you don't take, or you miss 100%.
Oh, God.
Way to go, Michael Jordan.
You shoot 100% of the shots you don't take.
Oh, God, never get
I'm the Chicago White Sox, Michael Jordan. I'm nowhere near.
Oh man! All right,
We're
Wedge.
Washington Wizards, Michael Jordan.
Jesus.
Anyway,
Wedge, save us. Wedge, who do you like in the 8K range?
Who do you like at the 8K range? Because clearly, I'm just.
How about a little? I know someone mentioned him earlier. How about a little Duffner?
Duff Daddy.
Yeah, here's a basic guy that he's gonna. I don't know, dick his way around on the greens at times, I guess would probably be the best way to put it. But getting there isn't going to be a problem. And I'll take my chances on any guy that's going to get there and stay dry this week. And, he misses a putt or two. What's he going to lose? Maybe he loses, 3 strokes on the field the whole week in a bad putting week. But I guarantee you can make up 3, 4, 5, 6 on the field tee to green. So I like Duffner in this range out of that bunch. I'm not very interested in a lot of these guys, but Snedeker is definitely one that I think a lot of people will probably be off, myself included. It just doesn't seem like he's all there. Maybe he's still injured from before. And then the rest of this, there's some names in here that I'm somewhat intrigued by, but got to do a little digging. Like, might be a little interested in Martin Keimer this week. Oh, yeah. If it's going to be if it's going to be a dry course and he's going to be able to putt his way around the greens, stuff along those lines, that fills the Martin Keimer bill. So I like that. How about I will not be playing Tiger Woods until he's like 6,800. So because that's about where he should be, in my opinion. Yeah, as of right now. But what do you guys? How about Matt? Matt, I haven't heard you. You got to go next. I get stuck going first every time so far.
Well, that's the old guest treatment.
That is, I do have a bias toward our guests.
It's all right.
Yeah, I mean, I could get behind some Duffner. I mean, I don't know, man. I kind of just, this is one of those like gut feelings again, but I feel like Ollie screwed so many people last week that he could sort of be an interesting play this week if his ownership is down again. He had been like single digit owned most of the season so far, and then all of a sudden he's like up at 40 and he misses a cut. And did he really play like that horrifically? Like he missed the cut on the number. I don't know. I feel like he could be interesting. And just going along with Jimmy's pattern math, he had miscut 7th place, miscut 3rd place, miscut.
So it should be win then, right?
Blank 1. Yep.
I told you I didn't do all that math. I only did most of the math. That's why Thomas Stevens didn't win.
But like longer term, I think that he's, I'm not going to be scared off by the miscut. He's been a little bit up and down. I think GPP makes a hell of a lot more sense. I'm definitely not trusting him in cash. But, out of his last, let's see, 8 events, he's been top 25 5 times. He's missed the cut the other 3. That's why he's a GPP play. But it's reasonable to sort of be like, all right, well, take a shot on him after he disappointed some people last week. So that's probably him and Duffner will probably be sort of my 2 favorites. What about you, Jimmy?
Yeah, I agree with you on Ollie. I think you should have. I'm going to have a little bit of GPP exposure for that exact reason. I think Kisner is interesting for the same reason. Berger's really the one that like I have this giant question mark about, and I really don't know where I've landed yet. I think a lot of it depends on the wind. If the wind is going to be where it's projected right now, which is like averaging 15 to like 20 for like 3 of the 4 days, then I think I like Berger maybe a little more than maybe like Rafa or Webb, like in the upper range. But I don't know. I find it really difficult to get on to Snedeker just for all those reasons we kind of like the wedge mentioned. But Kisner is interesting to me coming back over onto Bermuda. But his approach game seems off, and that's kind of why I can't get on board with him. So I think I'll end up with Berger and probably a little bit of Webb, a little bit of Rafa, and then probably most of my AK exposure is going to be on Keimer. He's probably the one I'm the most confident in. I liked what I saw last week at a course that's not suited for him. I do expect it to be pretty firm. I think he'll be able to kind of work his magic around the greens without having to do his chips and such. He can kind of run it up and putt it and such a little bit more. And I don't know. I kind of like him. I don't know how chalky he's going to be either. I don't know. But Keimer's probably where I'm going to land with most of my ownership in the 8K range. It's probably going to get split between him and the guy right below him.
Ooh.
All right, so hit us with it. Come on, what are you teasing
I was
us?
waiting for the official transition down into the 7K range.
Unless Ev, you got any strong takes on the 8K guys?
I mean, not really. I think honestly, no. I think
just like wave.
It's the one thing I really just don't have much to say on is this 8K range. I have a lot to say on the 7K range.
All right.
So, the guy right below him is Louis Oosthuizen. I think that the course suits Louis really well. We don't have to worry about Louis withdrawing from back pain because I believe he owns a house down here. So I think like he'll be fine. I mean, it's a real thing. It happens to him. So I think he'll be all right there. He I don't know his game, but just really tee to green. The guy, nothing flashy, but if he gets his putter going a little bit, his iron game is like second to none. So I like Louis to show up here, and then the guy below him, and Kiri-Afi Barnrat is kind of interesting to me as well for the upper 7K range. But kick it, you guys. See what do you think about them, and then what do you think about maybe some guys right below him, and like an Adam Scott or a Fratelli?
I really like Adam Scott this week. I mean, I had him in one and done last week. He ended up tying 53rd. I mean, it wasn't too good of a performance, but he did show some good. Good go, Keegan. I went Keegan in our listener league last week, and much to my detriment.
Yep, that's what you get. I am firm on my never Keegan. It is not a joke. I even screenshotted the definition of never for Brad from.
Oh yeah, Brad, the ultimate never. I think he started that bandwagon and jumped off his own bandwagon.
he claims he tinkered and took him out, but I don't know. I think if you committed,
there was a public endorsement. It's not about whether he played him or not.
I mean, if he's going to do something like that,
publicly endorsed a player that he previously publicly said he would never endorse.
He's got to take an L. Someone's got to take an L though.
Yeah, I am firmly on that never Keegan Island. So
now here's my rebuttal this week. Here's my rebuttal to never Keegan. I mean, us on the show here, we're fans of the Fantasy National Simulator.
Oh yeah.
Now guess who's number 9 in terms of top 5 probability?
Fuck, who cares? He was 10 last week.
Hey, that's exactly. He gets one spot. He gets one spot better. That means the almighty simulation.
Oh shit! I'll make the cut.
He was only one. He's the worst.
Yeah. Moving on from the Keegan talk, I do like Adam Scott with you a little bit. What do you think, Wedge, Matt? Where are you guys at here in the mid 7Ks?
I'm with you on the Adam Scott thing. It's one of those that
like a Bubba from last week.
Yeah, I mean, he was not spectacular. He was not spectacular last week in anything really. He's kind of in his average tee to green, off the tee approach, stuff along those lines. He was atrocious around the green last week, even by Adam Scott standards. I think he lost a couple strokes around the green, and his putting was actually is worse than his long-term running average at the current. So, maybe getting back to where I swear this is where he won in 2016. I think this is like the first event where he was using the short putter again and looked really comfortable around here. So, I mean, could it mean something? It might have some value this week. You can't deny that this course is, if you can get the ball to the green and keep it dry, and hell, even when you get it wet like he did on that Saturday of that 2016 event where I think he put 2 in the drink and ended up beating Sergio in the playoff the next day. I mean, a 12th, a 14th, and a first here, it's hard to deny that. But you're really going to have to grab your balls when you're playing them, and it's coming down to putts for everything, and they're like 6 and 7 footers. If you're willing to put yourself through the stress, I think you might reap the rewards for that guy.
If you play Adam Scott, just don't watch.
Yeah, you don't want to watch a shot tracker, especially because it'll say shot from the green, and it'll sit there, and every second you'll just swear at it because you fully expect it to be missed.
I feel like he's like the Bortles right now. Like he's Blake Bortles. Like it ended up being an okay play sometimes this past year, but you just couldn't watch. Like you're not gonna watch it and enjoy it.
Here's the difference. Blake Bortles never missed a cut.
True. We should get that Twitter handle to tweet that out.
That's true. Yeah, I mean, there's some other guys down here that are intriguing. Charles Howell. As always,
he's a real play this week.
There's the other guy that if he never wins, it's better for everyone that plays DK and likes to roll him in cash games because he'll just hover in that mid range to low range, no matter the field. And then I like Scott Piercy. I've been playing him the last couple of weeks, so he's kind of like a drug where you want to quit him, but you just can't. He just keeps bringing you back in because he'll go out and post some low scores for you, and and then he'll punt the cut and jump back on. Just speaking personal experience here.
Heroin person.
Yeah, I mean that's kind of how it feels like to me. A lot at the Career Builder, then he punts at the Waste Management, and just I think his putter was so bad that week, but his iron game is super strong. I really like him again this week. So who else is left of you guys to go through this range of people?
Personally, I'm not buying into the curse. I think Chesson Hadley is a solid play this week.
No, you're screwed.
Statistically, yes, but
doesn't matter. I'm over it. I've given up believing in curses for Lent as well, so it's fine.
Two things: you've given up course history and Lent. Pretty soon, you're just going to be randomly picking golfers.
I've also given up complaining, but I think I've already broken that a couple of times.
I was going to say that.
I heard one
a long time ago.
I don't know. Can somebody talk me into Griot, because
I wrote him up.
Yeah, I kind of want to buy in. Like, give me something to hang my hat on when I'm clicking his name.
All the Griot, long irons and approach. He was in contention for like 54 here last year until he put 2 in the drink on one hole and the wheels came off. I think Griot's got potential here. The course really fits his game, just like it does Duffner and all these other guys. Just like put it in the fairway, and long iron approach game. The course is going to be firm. He's not going to have to worry about length at all. I think he's going to be fine. Low ball flight, so I think he keeps it out of the wind. Ollie Schneider-Jans-esque. So I wrote him up. I'm going to play him. Vegas falls in the same boat. I played a lot of Vegas last week. That was disappointing. But you kind of have to get back on the horse. It's it's kind of like cocaine. You just gotta
cocaine and heroin reference.
Just gotta get back on the horse.
Absolutely.
I also just really quick want to point out how nice of a guy Wedge is. He goes, if Charles Howell never wins, like, what? Of course he's never gonna fucking win.
Oh, come on. He was so close last year. The he can't win narrative is bullshit.
Listen, he's no Gary Woodland. I'll just say that. So
see, everyone said Gary couldn't win.
Not everybody, Wedge. Not everybody.
You're right. You've been the truther.
Matt was the one.
By the way, has Gary sent you a restraining order yet, or is that still pending?
Nah, I wish, man. If I was on his radar at all, that would be enough for me.
We're gonna get the hashtag. We're gonna get a hashtag trending for you.
All right, and then just a couple more guys that I was.
Brian Palmer, 7,300. Are you gonna talk about him? You should talk about him.
Well, now you kind of. You wasted the good surprise on them. Come on, I mean, like I'm trying to get some stuff going here, Jimmy. Like, what the hell?
God, that was just.
Yeah, the thing that jumped out to me the most, Wedge mentioned in the beginning, just like find tee to green guys, right? Like last 50 rounds, 7th in tee to green in the field at 7,300 is a solid, a solid return on your investment there. There's not a hell of a lot of guys inside the top 25 in this range for tee to green. So something to consider. And where I'll just mention him because he's won recently, and then I'll let you, Jimmy, talk about the real 7,100 play. But Ted Potter is just not a thing, right? Great.
Junior.
Just wanted to mention him. So tell us about Bronson.
Well, Patton Kizzire shouldn't be overlooked at 7,300 either, I don't think. Bronson Burgoon. Yeah, there you go. Bronson Burgoon actually, the only reason he popped out to me is I noticed some odds differential to pricing and some odds differential across some one of my sheets, and that's really the only reason. I don't really have like a great reason for him being in that particular lineup that I threw in there, other than just kind of talking shit. I don't know if I'm actually playing Bronson Burgoon. I might, but yeah, I have no idea. If
I'm on board.
I can't actually endorse that play.
I mean, he was great on approach.
I can't, however, endorse Billy Horschel at 7,100 with the previous 4th and an 8th here, I do think Billy Horschel is one of those guys where you kind of ignore the recent form. Coming back over to Florida, coming back over to where he's familiar, enjoys the Bermuda grass. It's a course where he doesn't have to use his driver too much. And we know how hot Billy Horschel can get. So it's not a birdie fest. So I don't think the field's going to be running away with him. Are you smirking at my hot Billy Horschel comment there, Wedge?
Yeah,
they named the rule after him. He got so hot.
I followed him around on when we went to Akron last year for the WGC. Him and Chris Wood on the Sunday. We got out there really early. It was the first group out, and me and my wife followed with him the entire. It was probably from about the 3rd hole to like the 17th hole, and it was just just pure entertainment. I mean, F-bombs, club slamming, and just at one point
he's an unhinged lunatic.
Oh man, he started pointing at some guy driving a cart on the other side of the course. It was like, "Stop that! What are you doing?"
Calling him out.
Oh, he was spectacular. I mean, it was,
and he was in the first group out.
I bet he's more than a handful to like play with or like be like within like 70 meters of.
See, I think he's just straight fire, and he was getting he actually, I think Wood and him got along. They look like they were having a good time. They want to catch a flight and get the hell out of there.
I'm glad you mentioned Wood though. In my like twisted narrative mind, Chris Wood's in my Euro DraftKings lineup, so I feel like that gives me some good vibes.
It definitely does. If you're playing Billy Ho and him, somehow there's a connection there that they played one round together in Akron last year. Should take you to the promised land. But yeah, no, I just following around Billy Horschel was like made getting out there as like the first group worth every last second of it. So I just enjoyed my time. That's all. That's why I was smirking, just thinking of him.
Billy made you smile.
Speaking of guys that piss off the public, how about Grayson Murray this week?
I don't think he's pissed anybody off recently, has he?
I mean, I think he's been a little smarter with his Twitter usage.
Like just not talking.
Yeah, exactly. Like just don't say things.
But I mean, it's 7,300 this week. I mean, I think he's a decent value. Still really good guy with the irons. What are your thoughts?
Not untrue statements, but I'm not going to play him.
No, just the name I wanted to throw out there. My man Hillbilly.
Oh man,
the dude is a hillbilly by every objective definition. But yeah, I mean, guys like Murray, I'll have in my player pool. Patton Kaziri, I'll have a good chunk of him. Snark just going over there. I have a brand to keep up here.
You're a hero, Ev.
I try.
It really is true. Not all heroes wear capes.
Hooked on phonics.
All right, let's. Why don't we get some dart throws down here?
That's. Hold on. 7,200. Lucas Glover shall not be.
I tried.
There's a lot of guys I think in this 7,000. I mean, granted, I think maybe 50% of all people in this event are priced in this range by DK, but there are some 79 to 7,000 names in here that I think you could definitely get away with using this week. I mean, can't go through all of them, but it's just my 2 cents there. There's a ton in this range, I think. Yeah. Some really crap ones, but I think there's some really good upside ones. So
conversely, there's not like tons of punts this week, like really deep punts for stars and scrubs, so I mean, overall lineup construction, what are your feelings, Webb or Wedge? What do you think, Webb? That's like subconscious. My Freudian slip that Webb's gonna win. Great. What do you think, Wedge? What in terms of lineup construction? You think guys are going to go stars and scrubs? You think they're going to kind of like go, 110K and up and 9K and then fill it out, or how do you see that going?
I play pretty chalky because 90% of what I'll do or 80% of what I'll do will be cash games. So I look at, if you're going to play cash, you're going to see a couple of those guys in the 9,000 plus range. I think probably a hefty chunk of Sergio, maybe someone else in there. So I think you'll see a lot of people gravitate towards the 7,000 range. There are some names in the 6K range that I think that people will be interested in. I mean, just pick up, you can pick up your phone and scroll through and point out the chalk in the 6,000 range pretty easily. I think some guys are going to be willing to go a little bit on McGirt. He's been well. I know I've heard the name O'Hare out there a couple times.
Yeah, O'Hare's the guy I'm kind of interested in.
Exactly. So you're going to see the same. There's not a lot down here, though, like you said. I mean, would you feel comfortable playing any of these other guys down here outside of, just like a 5 to 10% fill in and hope for the best? I mean, what do you guys think in this range? I kind of like, a couple of them.
I already know where Matt's going, and he'll put a heavy piece on him because Matt is loyal.
It's like it's egregious that he's 6,700 this week. Like it's a goddamn travesty. I can't wait to go 100%.
Matt, if it makes you feel any better,
be so great.
Listen, he shows up in the first optimal lineup I made this week. He showed up.
Goddamn right he did. Because that's what Stuart Sink does. He shows up.
I mean, unfortunately, he hasn't in a while. But like Jimmy said, moving back here, maybe it means something for him.
Oh, it's him and JT are going to be in 80% of my lineups. So just log in Friday night and see what happens, and then we're just off to the races.
The hills you're willing to die on.
You know what? I'm dropping another middle name, Stuart Ernest Sink. If that's not the most appropriate middle name you've ever heard in your life, I don't know what is.
That is the whitest thing I've ever heard.
You know what? I feel like that middle name should have gone to Payne Stewart.
Oh my God, I'm building the lineup right now. JT, Woodland, Sink.
All I had.
What other brand plays can I get in here?
God help us.
I think realistically, back to your question about lineup construction, there's usually like a couple of 6,800, 6,900 guys that I really feel like super comfortable going all in on. And there's not, to me at least, there's not like the obvious, like it's definitely going to be this guy. Like I might land on someone, but there's definitely not one play where I'm like completely sold, right? Like RCB a few weeks ago and he was 6,900. Like that kind of play, I don't think is there this week, to be totally honest. Like I think O'Hare is a good play. But other than that, I mean, obviously I'll have some Sink, but I don't know. I don't feel great about really anybody down here. So it'll be interesting.
The method that I know we've discussed where you go 100% in on the low guys and then switch up the top a little bit. None of those guys this week. I can agree with that.
I was just gonna say I agree. I'm finding it really, really difficult to like concentrate any of my ownership with confidence below 7,500.
Yeah.
And I really haven't concentrated on any sort. I haven't like settled on a general construction. I haven't like, oh yeah, it feels very spread out. I think generally this, like I said, Matt, this is a week I wanted to go disciplined and structured and light. And then you told me about that contest, and now I'm max entered and way overexposed. It's going to be awful. $20 whole dollars is going to blow my bankroll. But that's the reason that's the reason I felt like I wanted to be very structured and kind of a light approach this week is because I don't have a real confident lean one way or the other. I would be fine like going totally with or against the crowd. If I had confidence in it, but I don't. I'm very middling on almost all of it this week. So I hope that that opinion solidifies as we get closer to Wednesday. I'm going to have to force into some decisions because otherwise I'm just going to bleed money to the field and just give it all away with trying to cover all my bases. So no, I hope that shakes out. Like I said, I'm very undecided in the lower parts of this field from like 75 down.
You don't want to go heavy on Ian Poulter?
I fucking hate that guy, man. That guy's such a douche. Like, seriously. He really is.
Oh, for sure.
That's something you lose DK points on, though, for.
No. They like
no, because Bubba
still
scored full points last week. So
sure.
Guy dominated the celebrity
like Wes Bryant at 6,800 definitely should have some exposure to him. It feels like he's played well here. I mean, he's been awful recently, but
it's a good fit.
His driver, like Scott Brown, I can see Scott Brown playing well here. Ryan
Auto
Armour at 6,700. Like that feels like a misprice a little bit to me. This Ben, I don't know anything about Ben Silverman, but he seems to show up.
You know what I know about Ben Silverman?
He's Jewish.
All right. Well, maybe that's a possibility. But in some places he's Ben, and some places he's Benjamin, and he fucks up my database every time I try to build something.
Fuck that Ben guy.
The worst.
Matt, like Kevin Tway at 6,600. I'm not sure. Like I agree. Bazzelli, maybe. And that's it. Like, I don't know. But like Kevin Tway, I didn't even know he was like down here, $6,600. That seems wrong.
Yeah, he's been bad though. Ugh.
Yeah, but again, like this is like the 1 week I maybe don't care about form, coming from totally different course setups and types.
I think he's been bad enough that you should care about it.
Yeah, but
I love the guy.
Okay, so I just randomly pulls up.
There's a lot of water out there for him.
Yeah. Okay, so the last course he played with lots of water, CIMB Classic and the CJ Cup at 9 Bridges. CJ Cup at 9 Bridges, which ended up being a really difficult golf course that nobody really anticipated. Fucking T28. I don't know.
Yeah. You just got really excited for a T28. Like that was way too much.
Listen, you were bagging on Kevin Tway so hard. I felt like I had to defend his haircut or something.
It's so funny because like that's my guy. Like it's if you listen to this show, you know he's like one of my guys.
I know. You just got Wolves.
You just got so excited, and I was like, "Oh, he must have been like top 10 or something." And you're like, "Fucking T28."
Well, yeah, but he's $6,600.
But no, mind you, that's his best.
Much better than I got. If he finishes T28 at $6,600, I'm doing fine.
Yeah,
that's also his top finish since the John Deere and his top finish in
Wedge. Stop bringing me down with facts, bro.
No, I've always wanted to play Kevin Tway. Guy hits it a mile. The problem is who knows where it's going and what he does after it.
Have you seen his haircut though?
I have not.
You should check it out.
Goes back to a haircut.
You should check it out.
Is it the one that's on the DK picture?
Yeah, dude. It's the heavy comb over.
Yes.
I'm not sure what it's called, but anyway, we're way off the rails again.
Well, look at the range of people down here. I think that's probably why. Yeah. It's a grab your nuts kind of area down here.
As is every week, it seems like. Sean O'Hare is the lowest. I feel like I'm going at 6,800.
Okay. Yeah, it could. Yeah, you don't want to go much lower than that, I don't think.
No, other than Sink at 67. But yeah,
that's true.
All right, let's. We have to update everybody on our one and dones.
Do we have to? I've got it ready to go right here. I just don't want to tell everybody about it.
Well, the issue is for Evan. There was blood in the water last week, and he screwed it up, and he only made like 15K. So really kind of screwed the pooch there, Ev, because you could have blown us out of the water. Like if you had Bubba, you'd be like 2 million past us.
I mean, yeah, if I would have just gotten the fortune ball out and be like, oh, can you tell me that this is the one weekend that Bubba was going to do something?
Isn't that what we're trying to do like the last hour?
That's amazing. I can't fight that. I mean, Bubba played in the Celebrity All-Star game, so we should have known.
Dude, Bubba, listen, I said DJ was the most Hollywood golfer last week. It wasn't. It was Bubba.
No, it was Bubba.
That guy, he went on Ellen. He was at the recording of some other show he was talking about. He did the celebrity basketball thing. He probably, I don't know. He probably like had a spot in a movie or something.
Dude, let me tell you.
I saw an interview with him, and he's like, "Hey, it's Hollywood. Do stuff." Like, and he was doing stuff. Guy was out there.
I'll tell you one thing before we get to our one and dones with Bubba. During that basketball game, there's two clips. So it's the same girl getting blocked twice in the game. Her name's Rachel Demita. She's a smoke show. However, that's not the point. However, there's the one block that went viral from Quavo the rapper. There was another one. Bubba Watson.
Bubba Guns.
Bubba Watson just swat. This ball just goes flying into the crowd. He just rejects, and this girl is like a third of his size. Like she's a tiny little thing.
It'd be like me blocking a midget.
It honestly,
with the midgets, Jimmy. Every time.
It's like every fourth podcast.
He always goes back to the midgets. I don't know. Did a midget do something to you?
No.
All right, that's our fourth episode, extra episode. We gotta like set up a Patreon so we can have all these bonus episodes.
What's Patreon?
Oh man.
Anyway, so yeah, our one and dones for this week.
All right.
Who you guys got?
No, Ev, no. Stop.
Let me hear the standings. Let me hear the standings.
Oh yeah.
Oh, I'm losing.
Go ahead.
I'm losing.
It's ugly. Yeah, he's like probably the smartest person out of the three of us, and he's losing. So that just shows me that one and done is like not predictive at all of skill or talent.
It's a long season.
Yeah, Jimmy's at 493,000. I'm at 639, and Ev's in the lead with 688.
Oh, dude, that's one golf tournament.
Oh my gosh, that's a top 10 and.
Yeah, Jimmy, if you actually pick someone who makes the cut this week.
I was gonna say you gotta pick someone.
You gotta miss the cut.
Yeah, but I'm not saying how easy it is.
I didn't say it was easy. Listen, I'm already picking the winner. It's Sergio Garcia. He's already in there.
Yeah,
he's been picked.
Yeah. So do we have to do?
Oh no,
we have to do the Abby bet, Sergio and JT then.
Bet, but we know we're not going to do it with our one and done. We're going to pick a range of golfers, and we're each going to get one. Do we want it to be the top range, the mid range, or the bottom range?
You pick.
Let's do the mid range. Yeah. Lots of options.
All right, define mid range for me.
So mid range is going to be 9,700 to 8,000. So you've got.
You just had to say 9,700, so I'd be tempted for Gary.
So you got Gary Woodland. I didn't.
That's exactly what it was.
I picked the first 4-digit numbers. So you got Gary Woodland down to Martin Keimer. What's interesting is I think we're both comfortably going to pick the top and bottom of this range and not think very hard about it.
Oh God, I don't know. What are you doing?
I'm going to pick Keimer. The top and bottom of the range.
All right, lock it in. Perfect.
Yeah.
Love it.
Okay, so Keimer versus Woodland for an Abby bet, and I think that's a pretty solid matchup, actually.
Love it.
Ooh.
And for you know what? Screw it. I'm gonna go. No, I'm not. Evan, who you got?
I'm gonna go.
I want to go. I'll pick a name here. I'll go Ali.
You're going Ali for one and done?
I'll go Ali. Yeah.
Wedge, you got it. Do you want to throw your hat into the ring here too?
Sure. I'll give me Duffner.
Duff Daddy. All right.
Well, at some point you got to pick a one and done.
Yeah, I guess. All right. I'm gonna go JT because I said it before. If I think he's gonna win, I have to pick him. I have to.
Nice.
So there you go, JT. I know I shouldn't have burned him now. I know he's in Memphis. Whatever. I get it. I know I'm an idiot, but I like him.
Hey, yeah,
whatever. You're only playing two people. It doesn't matter in our one and done league.
Yeah,
like that decision might matter in the big one and done league.
Yeah, but
I
picked Tiger in my like actual money large one and done last week, so I'm dead.
Well, that was a mistake.
Damn it, Jimmy! I'm taking stands. Why aren't you listening to me? I'm taking stands.
Take better stands
because we don't need. Jimmy, the one thing we don't need is that goddamn troll from last week. Like, oh, you didn't say this guy on the podcast.
No.
Wait, what? We have a troll
for whoever that guy was. Last week on the podcast, I publicly endorsed Bubba Watson as a play and did not play him. If that helps your trust factor.
Yeah, he was all pissed that you didn't say anything about Molinari, and then you said that you were playing him on Twitter.
Of them. Yeah, that's funny. Yeah. So last week I publicly endorsed a player that I only played one lineup in and didn't cash in on my own endorsement. So there you go.
We're even, guy.
Yeah.
We're even, guy.
Well, on that note, this has been the Bogey Free Podcast for the Honda Classic. Make sure to follow us on both YouTube and iTunes, Bogey Free under both of those. And make sure to follow us all on Twitter. And, of course, if we're not winning all the money this week, we hope you guys do. So good luck in your contest this week.
But I'm winning.
Yeah.
See ya.